medical marijuana guy. Medical marijuana is a very interesting case because it's a plant. Back at the beginning of the AIDS crisis, when they had nothing that worked, it turned out that eating a brownie would suppress inflammation in your gut from HIV, and you could live a lot longer. You wouldn't waste away. But marijuana is a plant, and you really can't monopolize it. So we had to fight just to get an actual clinical investigation from 1981 to 2011, 30 years, to prove in an animal model that this was working. Now, you gotta understand, all the patients are coming to them and saying, this is working, right? They passed an initiative in California by 56% of the vote in 1996. This took so long that they actually legalized pot before they could get it through the pharmaceutical system. Now, the gentleman was talking about risperidol. Risperidol is a really sucky drug. It's horrible. Right now, we have a bill in the New York State Assembly, A7928. It's to look at psychedelic drugs. I have a little flyer I'll go around and give you. But we have one psychedelic drug that gets people off of heroin overnight. It is also the only thing that stops crystal meth. It's called ibogaine. It's from the African rainforest. We are being told that before we can actually give that to people, it has to finish a phase 3 trial. Meanwhile, people are advocating for safe injection sites, and nobody's saying that you have to have a clinical trial of coke, dope, or speed before they give you stuff at the safe injection site. But the people at the safe injection site are connected to the Drug Policy Alliance, which has a priority of legalizing drugs. They're just not that interested in psychedelic cures. So they treat the psychedelic drugs, which would be an alternative to risperidol, as like this strange unknown creature that we're not ready for. Because do you think they really want, look, I went to the National Institute on Drug Abuse. We had a program like you're talking about. They studied ibogaine for 5 years, and then they discontinued it. It turned out that they took all the activists off the panel because they were pro-medical marijuana people and they weren't allowed to be on the panel. And on the panel, they put a group called Rickett Benkaiser. Rickett Benkaiser makes Suboxone. Suboxone is a highly addictive drug that you cannot quit without incredible discomfort that goes on for months. When they approved, you guys all know the story about them approving OxyContin, right? Right? They approved OxyContin. There were 2 guys. One was Curtis Wright from the FDA. He went on to get a job working for the Sacklers, $500,000 a year. At the same time, knowing they're going to have a big problem, they approved Suboxone for Rickett Benkaiser, so that after all those people got addicted, they'd have to go on another addictive drug that they would with a meth problem, who put them on risperidol, haloperidol, and other drugs. You've seen that great stuff on television, stops tardive dyskinesia, right? Oh, I can take my antipsychotic drug now because I have something that will suppress the symptoms that it gave me. They do not want fucking improvements in the system if they can't own them. Do you understand? So we have a little thing we're trying to get past, and I'm here today because, I got to go around to every group under the sun and tell them there's a cure for heroin, but like the cure for cancer that they supposedly were holding, but when you get into opiates, which is a real money maker for the system, you can't do anything to challenge the opiate monopoly. So what I'm trying to do, we have a guy up the street at 47th Street and 5th Avenue. His name is Peter Buffett. He's Warren Buffett's son. He's about to replace Warren Buffett on the board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation because Warren Buffett is 90 years old and Peter Buffett is only 60 years old. These guys pay for all global harm reduction. And what does global harm reduction consist of? Needle exchange and Suboxone and methadone. So the reason we never get out of the opiate crisis is that the cure for the opiate crisis is another opiate. What do you expect to have happen? Every single person who's on Suboxone, if the World Trade Center, if they crash the planes into the World Trade Center or the equivalent and they shut down New York so you can't go from one block to the next, because I was here and you could not go from one block to the next. Fucking Giuliani had it set up so that there was police barricades everywhere. No one could get to their methadone clinic. They went into withdrawal. If you go into withdrawal because they take away your government-sponsored opiate, you're going to go out into the street and find some opiates. The chances are those opiates will be full of fentanyl and you will die. So we need something different, and I would like to invite you in the future to go up and demonstrate outside of Peter Buffett's office at 47th and 5th Avenue because he has refused to meet with us. I'm from the ACT UP Meth Group. We got the first program to treat methamphetamine in the country. But you know what we have to do? They have some Wellbutrin. They have some Vivance. It's not effective, right? And they have to let people keep doing fucking methamphetamine. I want to show you something here. Oh, I didn't bring it. Never mind. The point I'm trying to make is we came out with a demand. Tax marijuana. If you're going to have to tax it, we know they're not going to legalize it unless they put taxes on it. Have the money go for Medicare for all. Woo! Directly pay from taxing. The medical marijuana people would happily pay taxes to be able to be legal. Do you understand? To not have to worry about the fact that it's still federally illegal. So, I want to, propose a little alliance between put some kind blood behind Medicare for all.
Yeah.
New drugs that treat mental problems and addiction problems have been withheld since Richard Nixon in 1971 when they passed the Controlled Substances Act, and we have not been able to use drugs that are very promising because it's a Schedule I drug. Anyway, I'm going to give this back.
Yeah.